And welcome back to my channel. This week I'm bringing you guys along with me to see what I read in a week as a busy college student prepping to graduate. Anyways, I'm super excited. This is gonna be super realistic. Recently, I've actually been reading more than I normally do. I'm just more excited to read and trying to carve out more time to read. So today is Wednesday. We'll either end this on Sunday, so it'll be 5 days, or we'll just do the whole full week. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out together. But I do know that this is going to be my next read. This is Funny You Should Ask by Elissa Sussman. I honestly don't know what this is about at all, other than the fact that it's a romance. I was seeing it circulating a lot. I think it was early this year or maybe even last year. I can't remember, but I've heard people talking about it. I just can't remember if they liked it or not. But we're gonna get into this and then I'll tell you more about what it's about as I get there. I didn't read a ton today. I had a lot of school types of things to do, but I did get to page 62. So I read a good amount and I can kind of start to tell you what this book is about. So far it is this reporter who is basically interviewing her favorite celebrity of all time. Think of your favorite celebrity. My cat is playing with my tripod. Anyway, think of your favorite celebrity, and that's what this book is about. She's interviewing her favorite celebrity, basically. I can't even lie to you. So far, it's a little boring. I know we're setting the stage for something to happen, but I just can't believe that this interview has lasted 62 pages. I feel like boring is the wrong word. It's more of just really drawn out. Why is this interview 62 pages? Actually, probably more than that because the interview isn't even over yet. But anyway, I know it's gonna get somewhere and we're just setting the stage for everything. I'm just shocked at how long we're setting the stage for, considering this is kind of a small book. This font is so small. It just makes me feel like I'm reading so slow. I did read yesterday, but I gave actually 0 updates because I only ended up reading at night. I was in bed about to fall asleep reading, but I did get to page 126 and I don't know how to feel. I'm not hating it. I don't feel like I'm gonna DNF it, which is good. My cat's new favorite thing is playing with my tripod. Anyways, don't love it, don't hate it. I still feel like I'm just waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to be revealed, and it's just not happening so far. But I do like how she's writes, so that's a positive. Please ignore my hair. I am masking and oiling right now, so it looks very crazy, but I just got to chapter 16, and at this point we figured out why they no longer talk, and also what happened between them in the past, because I feel like that's 2 separate things. So why they don't talk anymore makes sense to me. What happened in the past does not make sense to me, because I don't know if we're about to find out more, but so far it's just okay, that happened, yeah, but that doesn't mean, I don't know how to word this without telling you guys what is conflicting. Wait, what? I meant without telling you guys without spoiling it is what I'm trying to say. Let me read you the part on the back of the book that is kind of explaining what I'm talking about, because you find out what happened in the 72-hour time frame that it mentions on the book. I feel like more is about to happen, but I don't know, because no way that this is the only thing that's holding her to him. Anyways, it says she wants to pretend that she's forgotten about the time they spent together, but the truth is that Channy wants to know if also, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I already forgot because it said it in the book. It gave a pronunciation guide and I already forgot. Anyways, she wants to know if those 72 hours were as memorable to Gabe as they were to her. I swear, if there's not more to the story, of what happened in those 72 hours, I'm not gonna be a happy girl. Okay, let's get back to reading, because ideally, I would like to finish this book by tomorrow, because I'm going to the library tomorrow. This is a public library book, so I want to be able to return it and get something new. As soon as I got it in my head that I was going to finish this book yesterday, I just laid in bed and read until my eyes were closing. I was just falling asleep, but I only have this little bit left. It is 8:30 in the morning, so I woke up pretty early. So I'm hoping I can finish this because I have kind of a busy day today. And like I said, I'm going to the library this morning. But I figured out what I was trying to say before. So in the beginning of the book, they made it sound like something big had happened between them. But then when they tell you what happens, well, at least like halfway through the book, it's such a small thing that leaves me like, what? Like, this is what has you so hung up over this guy? But what I don't understand, really truly, is that how can this be a second chance romance when they knew each other for only 72 hours? Like, they barely knew each other before they had their little split moment. Also, in between each chapter, there's a couple pages of an article. It's like an excerpt of articles throughout the book, and they're all different articles. But what I don't understand is like, why are they there? Like, some of them it makes sense and it's like, okay, this is actually some helpful background information, but some of them feel fully random and I'm just like, I don't want to be reading those, truly. Okay, that's enough updates. Let's go finish this and then I'll give you a rundown on my thoughts.
So comfortable. No one seems to hold me like you do. You're so wonderful. A star could never shine as bright as you. Even the dark days still see light.
I finished the book. As you can probably tell, I did not like this. I think I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5, which I feel bad giving it something so low because I almost never give books. Well, that's not true. The whole like last 30 pages, I was just like, I don't want to finish this. Like, what am I reading? I was just so frustrated with the characters because I felt like the movie star in this book, his personality was mostly like, I have a drinking problem and I'm famous. That was the most of his personality that we were given. And I just felt like their relationship, like she only liked him because he was a movie star. That's the only reason she went into like their first real life meeting and knowing anything about him was because he was a movie star. And like, I still just can't get over the fact that they knew each other for 72 hours in the past timeline. I'm sorry, what? 3 days. They knew each other for 3 days. I can't get over that. Also, you know how most romance books will have like a little tiff in them? They'll have a little fight. This book had one that was just thrown in so randomly that I felt like my head was spinning when I was reading it. And it felt just so unbelievably unnecessary. So yeah, unfortunately, not my favorite. It's almost made me a little bit annoyed while reading it. Like, it did not evoke the right kind of emotion. Like, I should be like happy and giggly and in love with the couple, but no, I was just annoyed the entire time. Okay, so I ended up going to the public library and I always challenge myself to get one nonfiction book when I'm at the library, so that's what this one is. This is Lies Across America. This is the same author of the book Lies My Teacher Told Me, which I actually really want to read that, but they didn't have that one there, so I picked up this one instead. This one I think might be my next read. This is Five Survive by Holly Jackson, and she's the same one that wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I haven't read the series yet, but I really want to. And they had this one, but they didn't have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, so I picked that one up. These two are actually part of a series. It's the Illuminae series, and so this is book 2 and book 3. And I read the first book as a reread earlier this year, and it was so good. I loved it. But now I'm gonna read the second one and the third one. And these are so cool because like, they're not all just plain words, which is nice because they are really thick books, both of them. So I'm excited. Okay, I'm about to start reading this book by Holly Jackson, Five Survive. I did just read the synopsis in the library, so it sounds like it's about a group of 6 friends that go on some type of like vacation, and they're driving there and something happens to the car, but then they figure out that it's like a targeted attack and they know only 5 of them are gonna be leaving, or maybe we know that only 5 of them are gonna survive because one of them is being targeted and people know things and things go down. I don't really know, but we're gonna find out together. I have like 30 minutes to read before I need to start getting ready because today is our first game day, football game day of the season. So super exciting, but that doesn't leave a ton of reading time.
Still sing at night. Every word just comes out right when I'm with you, with you. I feel so lucky I met you, and I still can't believe that I get to see those eyes for more than tonight. Swear you must have fell from the sky, and I feel so lucky I met you. It's not logical the way I feel when you walk in.
I think it's been 2 days since I've last given an update on this book because it's now Monday and I'm on page 79. A couple thoughts. Just now we're already at like a more intense part of the book. I don't want to say exactly what happens, but it's starting to get to the plot line that I mentioned earlier. Well, I wouldn't say starting. It already started, but now it's at the point where I'm on the edge of my seat. And I will say most of the book is narrated by a character named Red, and we haven't fully uncovered everything that's happened to her yet, but she's definitely had a lot of past trauma. Like, we know her mom died, and that's not a spoiler. You learn that in the first like 20 pages. Like, we know that she died, but we don't know how or why or like what happened, but that definitely had a big effect on Red. And the way Red processes thoughts is actually so astounding. For example, she was fixating on curtains for a really long time and she just couldn't figure out what the curtains reminded her of. Like, I feel like there's a disconnect between like her thoughts and like not reality, but like making her thoughts become words. There's a little bit of a disconnect, and sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm liking it so far. I feel like the first beginning has definitely been like, oh yeah, this is a YA book and it's reading like one. But now that we're getting more in depth into the thriller aspect side of things, I'm so into it. Oh, I also wrote down, I've been keeping some notes in my phone just in case, but I also wrote down, I like how the book starts with them in the RV and you didn't have to read any backstory. I'm also a little bit confused on if we know who, like, are we supposed to know who the killer is or are we supposed to just guess who's gonna die? I'm a little confused on that part. I'm actually so tired right now, but I wanted to give an update before I go to bed because I kind of binged this a little bit. I can't remember what page I was on when I last updated, but now I'm on 180, so chapter 23. I feel like I still have the same feelings as I did in my last update as I do now, but I'm kind of just eating this book up, and I just love having different theories of like who's working with who, because I swear one of them's a little bit suspect. Okay, actually I don't know if one of them is working with the killers, but the synopsis says something about, I just realized one of them is probably not working with the killers, and I just made that up from the fact that the synopsis says, but is there a liar among them? Buried secrets will be forced to light and tensions inside the RV will reach to deadly levels. I don't know why that to me meant that someone was working with the killers. Hi guys. It is Tuesday, it's the next day. It is currently 9 o'clock and I haven't picked up my book at all today, which is pretty standard for a Tuesday since I've got a lot of classes on Tuesdays and I kind of just like to get a lot of stuff done on Tuesdays. So reading is kind of one of the last things I typically do on a Tuesday. Or I mean, not one of the main things. Not one of my main goals on a Tuesday. Anyways, all of that to basically say I did not read it all today. I will probably read some. Hi! I'll probably read some a little bit in bed tonight, but I am gonna end the video here. Future me will tell you guys what I think of Five Survive by that time I finish it. Future me here to tell you my final thoughts about this book because I did finish it a couple days later and I ended up rating it a 4 out of 5. I really liked it and it makes me excited to read more of her books because I've had the Good Girls Guide to Murder series on my like never-ending TBR for so long that now I'm like, okay, maybe I should actually, you know, order the books and read them. Anyway, this book had me literally tearing up at how it ended, and it also just made my feelings towards the characters, like, I felt validated. I wish I could explain it without telling you what happens. She just made me addicted to this like the entire time. My eyes were glued to the book and I never not wanted to pick it up, which to me means it's a really good book. I also wanted to mention that I read about 560 pages this week, which is pretty standard for me while in school. When I have breaks, I definitely read a lot more, but when I'm juggling school and reading, I would probably say I read around that amount of pages, which typically is like a book and a half for me, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, that's it for me. Back to the video. This was a pretty realistic week in my life reading wise. At least the past couple of weeks, I've definitely read a book and a half per week. During the summer, I was definitely reading a lot less, but that's what I've been reading recently. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
It's not logical.